Hi there, TaffyRue here, and welcome to another exciting episode of Features by TaffyRue, where we get to put the spotlight on young, upcoming artists and creatives who are bubbling under. So when I first took note of this gentleman's name, it was when Pastor G brought him up as one of the producers that he would want to work with if I was to collaborate with him. He spoke so highly of him that when I was thinking about working on my next project, I decided to reach out to him so that we could work on something together. And working with him was quite an experience, and I got to get firsthand why he came so highly recommended. So I'm super excited that I get to sit down and have a chat with him today. Wayne, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much for coming into my office today. Last time, Takura knew, and you're the one calling the shots.
I'm calling the shots. No, thank you for having me, and I'm glad to be here.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So I got to know you a little bit better as we were working together, but I know that there's some people going to watch this podcast who don't know who you are. So maybe you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, thank you. My name is Waynebeats Malomo. I'm an artist. I'm a music producer, a sound engineer. Yeah, and my whole world revolves around music, basically. So, yeah, that's basically me.
Beats, is that your second name, or is that...
No, Mahendere.
I see, Mahendere.
Yeah. My real name is Wayne Panashe Maromo.
Okay.
Yeah, so Waynebeats Malomo is my name for work.
Wayne name for work, yeah. I know artists who like having a stage name and then you're separating things. Are you very much different when you're in your workspace and when you're in your personal space?
I don't think I'm too different. Actually, I don't think I'm different.
It's just a name change, Jit.
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
just a name change. What you see is who I am basically everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you start music?
Professionally, I started music in 2015.
Okay.
But even before that, nagango kura ndichingo ita music. Like I said, my whole world just revolved around music. I started playing keyboard when I was 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
My parents bought me this small keyboard toy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how, but I just started composing songs from
Wow,
there.
that's amazing. 4.
Yeah. And along the way through my high school, primary school, I was just involved in many music extracurricular activities.
Okay.
Like I played marimba, drums, piano. I was a choir director once in high school. We had a small a cappella group as well.
Okay.
And yeah, I've just been like doing something in music in every stage of my life.
Did you ever think that you were going to do it professionally?
I don't want to lie. I dreamt about it when I was a kid.
Wow. Okay.
But at some point, I was so confident that I was going to become a lawyer. I almost went to law school. Yeah. I almost went to law school. And I don't know. Just before I was about to leave to go to China at the Wenzhou Law University. And then, I don't know, I just decided, you know what, this is not what I really want. And I kind of had a fight with my parents when I made that decision because they paid the monies for me to go. The visas had been processed and everything. And I was like, no, this is not me.
Wow.
I can't go.
So you were that close to law school?
Yeah.
So what gave you like the strength to be able to then tell your parents that you now want to do something else?
You know what, I don't really know, but I remember thinking that, I've seen friends of mine or people that I know in my circle that have gone to study various types of educational programs. And especially those that go abroad, they go and then they come back to ngorwa same house of it.
Yeah.
You know, so I thought about that.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what if I just start my hustle now instead of wasting money to go to do law school? I told my parents, you know what, I'm not saying I don't want to go to school, but can we channel that money for me to study sound engineering?
Okay.
Because I had already started making beats then when I finished my A level. I started making beats when I was in Form 2. And by the time we got to my A level, I was already making beats for artists. And so
Okay.
I remember I made a beat for Takura when I was Form 6.
Really?
A song called Tone It Down.
Okay.
It was my first big artist that I produced for. Yeah. And so I remember telling them, no, you know what, the money that you were going to invest for me to go and study law, let's just channel it. I want to study sound because I want to know how to mix my stuff, the beats that I make. Yes, I'm starting to get good at it, but I want to know how to put a good sound to whatever that I have created. I started in my studio. I got a laptop and my headphones. You know, you just bata so and then you make something kind of by YouTube. Free beats. You know, that's basically that's how I started. So when I finished high school, and then when the whole thing for me not wanting to go to law school happened, so I had a 2-year gap before I found a college to study the sound engineering that I wanted to study.
Yeah.
So I finally found a school. I went to Audio Academy, and they enrolled me for a music technology and sound engineering course.
Okay.
So that's where I started. And Nditori Koko, I basically just started doing this professionally. I started meeting with artists, going to shows, seeing how things are done, learning live sound, learning mixing, and also like getting better even at my beat making as well. Yeah.
Okay. So I know you also sing, right?
Yeah, I do.
How has that journey been for you in terms of being, I know you're a producer and also singing as well. Was that something that you always wanted to do, or is it something that you then fell in love with earlier, then came back to it after some time?
I guess, like I said, I was always doing music, and singing was
also part of it.
Was also part of it. I just grew up singing kumba and chikoro, and I really started to see my potential in church.
Okay.
The first time I was given a shot to lead a worship song in church, it was crazy. Even I didn't know I was that capable.
Okay.
So I guess something was ignited in me at the time, like more confidence, and to actually say, oh, you know what, I can actually do this like a thing, you know?
Yeah.
So I basically was singing since I was a child, and then throughout my high school, throughout college, and as well, like, I started singing in church when I was Form 4.
Okay.
That's when they gave me a shot to sing, and I led the song by Kayam Tetwa called You Never Settle for Less. Never settle for less. And we will never settle for less.
Yes, yes.
We know there's more that's found in you. That's the first song I ever led in church.
Wow.
And from there, I was just...
You're hooked.
I was hooked, yeah.
All right. And I guess my question would be then, what is the balance like between being a singer and also a producer? Because I remember when I was starting out and I was looking for like producers to work with, and I was struggling to find, people who would come up with the sound that I was looking for. And I was like, I guess I have to learn this whole producing thing, and probably maybe I'll end up having to make my own music. Did you ever face something like that, or it was just like, or maybe the question would be like, what is it like being a singer and a producer? Is that a good combination? Does it make you a better producer, or does it make you a better singer, having those two things in your life?
I think both gifts, they work together to make me better in a way.
Okay.
It's obviously an advantage for me to be able to sing and produce at the same time.
Yeah.
Because it helps me produce my own stuff.
Yes.
It helps me when I'm producing something for someone and we're recording in the studio. I'm in a better place to even assist whoever I'm working with if they need an assistance.
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
some people are better than me, but if I'm working with someone who I need to help vocal wise, I also train and coach people during sessions on like how to deliver better on or what we are working on. So I guess that's an advantage, both for me and whoever that I'm working with, of course.
Yeah.
And also being a producer is also an advantage for me as an artist, as a singer, because I produce my own stuff, but I also get help. I want to just say that. I also get help. I have friends that also produce as well. I also send them my stuff. I'm like, can you help me out here with this beat niche? I also have friends that also make beats for me.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is an advantage. It is an advantage because when I'm writing a song, I'm there, I'm playing my keys. I'm actually seeing the picture of where the melody is going, where the sound is going.
Yeah.
I can already see the finished product before I even make it. So I guess it is an advantage, and it definitely makes my work easier.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever made like a beat for someone and you're like, I kind of want this for myself?
I think all the time. You know what? I actually feel like I do the best work for other artists. That's how I feel.
Really?
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but most times I feel like, guys, this is too nice. Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
I need to make this for me.
I can imagine. I guess also, I don't know, maybe it's with music. I found, when you are doing something for someone else, or when you listen to somebody else's music, it sounds more amazing than your own. But when people then listen to your music, they're like, but yours is even better, So
yeah, I guess.
Okay. So you have worked with big names, right? Who have you worked with?
A few.
Not a few, a lot. A lot. Who have you worked with?
I've worked with people like Julian King, Tamy Moyo, Anita Jackson, Popton, Nikki Genius, XQ, Pastor G, Minister Mahendere, Tembalami, Nutty O.
Wow. The list is endless.
The list goes on and on. I hope I didn't leave out someone who's going to pin it on me. I love you guys.
I love you all, guys. All right. That's amazing. What is it like working with big names? Does it get intimidating sometimes?
Well, at first it used to. When I started. I think the first few people that I started working with who had established names in the industry, there was sort of an intimidation on my part.
Okay.
But I guess with time, I just got used to, interacting with people and whether famous or not famous, but now I'm just used to seeing more new faces coming to the studio and knowing that we are here to work,
Yeah.
It's actually fun.
I think also
people.
realizing, they're also people.
Yeah.
But on the outside, we're like, hey, shy, this big person. But we forget that they're also people, and they also.
Yeah, but I do get starstruck.
You also do get starstruck.
Yeah, but I've just learned how to have normal conversations with everybody and treating people the same.
Yeah.
In a nice way, of course.
Yeah.
But basically, I'm now used to working with anyone.
With anyone. That's cool. That's cool. What is the difference when you're working with someone who's established and someone who is still trying to make a name for themselves?
Well, yeah, that's a tricky question. But in my experience, working with new artists is a bit more fun. Okay. Why? Because they give me room to experiment with their sound. And someone who's established, they already have...
They have a sound.
They have a sound, and it's a bit risky for them to like experiment and take chances because someone already has something that is already working for
they
their
don't want
audience.
to tamper with what's working already.
They don't wanna mess up their audience and stuff like that. But with a new artist, they still have room to like try and see what works.
Yeah.
So we have room to like do trials and see, okay, if you do the sound, how is this coming out? Will people like it? Like there's still room and like an established artist. Because I have songs that I've experimented on with established artists, and some of those songs they will take time to be released because even the artist is not confident.
He's not sure.
If I release this, is this gonna go well?
Yeah.
Will people and you think stage? You know what I mean?
That's a perform on stage. Then people start reacting negatively to the song.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I can relate. Definitely, it would be scary to try something new when you've been, releasing music that works and people are receiving it, and then you want to try something new. It can be scary.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've mentioned that you've actually worked with a number of people in terms of secular and Christian artists, right? Yeah. What can Christian artists learn from secular artists? What are we lacking in as Christian artists?
What can secular artists learn?
We know what secular artists can learn from Christian artists, but we want to...
Yeah, but from my experience, the people that are into secular music, they have more drive in terms of pushing their content, especially in this social media era. Yeah, I've seen that in the gospel music side. Me also being a Christian, and I also have like gospel songs of my own.
Yeah,
we lack the real like drive. You could not sort of push our content out there. The guys or this other music, they really don't slack.
They push
stuff. They make sure they are on all the hot blogger pages, influencer pages, and things like that. So like I feel like people out there have understood the necessity and importance of marketing their stuff. Because if I'm to talk about quality music in gospel, people really do make quality music, especially when you talk about live sound, live recordings, and things like that. Yeah, they go all in.
Yeah.
But I feel like on the marketing side,
that's where we're weak.
But there are people that are really doing a great job in the gospel industry.
Okay.
There are people that are really doing a magnificent job. But most of us
are slacking on that marketing.
Yeah.
All right. Besides marketing, is there anything else?
Well, I don't think I'll have the right words to put it together, but it's about art. But art is different. Everyone has their own style, their own art. But yeah, I think people are doing great equally, both sides, gospel music and in the secular music side, because everybody's following the hot sounds, the trends, trying to get to the young people and, trying to get the gospel into the vibe as well and things like that. And I think that's a great job. I think that is a great job. So I think that's basically what I can say about that. So
marketing, you think, is a major thing that we are lacking in terms of Christian artists?
Yeah, me really being pushing. One of them.
Yes, definitely, because I have heard a lot of your music.
Yeah.
I think the time that I actually really started to know you was when you released Lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before that, my songs, Waynebeats made it, but we're just like, yeah. It's
actually, a lot of people hear Waynebeats made it and they think it's my song.
Really?
Yeah, I've actually recently figured that out. Because when the tag, people hear the tag, some people assume it's me. It's actually my song. I'm the one doing it. But it's not actually always me. Of course, I also put the tag on my songs.
Yeah.
But most of the songs we hear out there are probably someone else. But it's a song that I produced. It's a song that I maybe mixed and mastered and produced for another
Another
artist.
artist.
Yeah.
Okay. And I know you had that opportunity to perform when Maverick City came to Zimbabwe. What was that experience like?
That experience was fire. That was really amazing. It was a great opportunity. Also, like, it goes to see you, to show you like the power of collaboration. I wasn't actually the artist that was called to perform there, but it so happened that Ezekiel Poe, my guy, my friend, he was invited to perform there.
Okay.
But on his songs, he featured on my song Lighter, and Lighter was hot at the time. So he was like, bro, we need to do Lighter at this show.
Yeah.
And for me, it was an opportunity. If I hadn't done a collaboration with him, I was probably not going to be on that stage. So it actually shows like my collab, I
Yeah.
I know my opportunities sometimes when you're not even expecting it. So the experience was amazing. I think sharing a stage with those big names, Chandler Moore, Kirk Franklin. I grew up listening to Kirk Franklin.
Yeah.
And I love the way he does what he does. And it was an honor. And the experience was good. The crowd was amazing.
Yeah.
And we actually started the show.
Really? Oh, you're the ones who opened up.
And
Wasn't that scary though?
It was.
I can only imagine.
But I guess once you go on stage, you get some kind of an adrenaline. You don't care.
Yeah.
You're just hyped and everything is just going, you know. But yeah, it was quite an amazing experience, actually.
Nice. Where else do you get to perform your music besides, like, I think now we are getting to see more shows like the one the Maverick City did, and we know that there are others coming up. And Limo Blaze came to Zim and stuff like that. So a lot of urban gospel music, I guess, is now getting that platform to shine. But you mentioned you also do your music. What other platforms do you perform at besides like shows like that?
So me not being just a gospel artist, I consider myself just an artist.
Okay.
Because one day I'm doing a love song. One day I'm doing something maybe just motivational.
Yeah.
Someday I'm doing a worship song. So it has gotten me like an opportunity to perform in different spaces.
Okay.
I get invited to some gospel shows, some gospel concerts. I've been invited to comedy shows. I've been invited to restaurants. I've been invited to birthday parties. I've been invited to graduation parties, like things like that. And I'm performing different types of songs in those spaces.
Okay.
Valentine's this year, I was performing at a restaurant, and the theme was love. You know? So I was going through all my gospel songs, and I Let You Go, Wakandite, You, and songs like that. So I don't know, tapping into different types of spaces like that has given me a chance to, to perform in different occasions and venues and settings. Yeah, and it's quite interesting.
Interesting that you mentioned that you don't just do gospel, right? And you have platforms to do other types of music and stuff.
Yeah.
The question that came up when you were telling me that isn't that a bit like, I know vanwe gospel vanoda kuti, to keep their own musicians separate from people who do secular music. Okay. What has that journey been like? Is it not confusing for people who listen to you, the fact that you do both gospel and music that is not gospel?
My hope, obviously, is that it's not confusing, but also I'm not an artist that I don't sing different messages.
Okay.
My message is one. I'm mostly talking about love.
Okay.
And whether we're talking about love to church or to romance, whatever, but it's basically, I don't feel like I'm in separate worlds.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the same space.
Okay.
God is love.
Yeah.
And whatever the message that I'm trying to talk about, even if it's not a gospel song. If you listen to my music, it's about hope.
Yeah.
It's about inspiring someone to do better and be their best self. It's about love, basically. So that makes me become more confident in, doing it the way that I do it. But I know there's certain people that are obviously maybe a bit, I think the best word I can find is, they may not feel comfortable, but I feel like things are changing now. You're seeing our big artists, even here in Zimbabwe, they're collaborating with secular artists, inviting other people to also come and have a space in the kingdom, because I feel like that is very important. It's a powerful someone, having a gospel artist invite someone who doesn't do gospel to sing with them a gospel song. I feel like just picture what you're doing for the kingdom. There are people that follow certain people and they don't think those people are actually like prayerful. Those people are actually, they follow God and they are people that go to church. So I feel like it's actually a powerful way to push the gospel. I did a song with Michael Meggs, and he's actually been doing songs of his own gospel. I think he has a song in Inyasha that I recently saw. And he's not someone who's labeled as a gospel musician, but if you listen to the message, it gets to whoever it needs to get to, despite the label. Tembalami did a song with Nutty O. Nutty O is not a gospel musician, but he did an entire album, Mustard Seed, and the entire theme of that album was talking about God. So I feel like it shouldn't be confusing, and we should actually embrace that unity. Equity, to know Tobatsirana as artists, and we don't like really put labels too much on what we do. If you're pushing the same message, if you're talking about love, if you're talking about hope, if you're trying to inspire people, I don't think we need to really like put labels on. Okay, he's a gospel artist. We are just musicians trying to put people together. Yeah,
definitely. I think at the end of the day, though, I feel like Christians are the ones who like to then put those labels and put people in boxes.
That is true. That is very true.
And then now it defeats the purpose of then going out into the world and then using the platform that you have, using the collaborations, the relationships that you have to reach the people who need to hear that message, the message of hope, the message of love. And at the end of the day, when you collaborate and you are able to be in those people's, like when you get to be in the same room or be in the space where people who listen to secular music also get to find out about you because of a collaboration, probably they could then end up going back and listening to your music as a Christian artist or a gospel artist, and then find the deeper love that they need from God.
And you know what? One day I was in church and the man of God is preaching and is talking about how you cannot listen to certain music in certain settings. Do you know, like, you can't listen to gospel every time. Okay, you can if you want to, but okay, you and your husband on your honeymoon, mujiterera worship song. It doesn't, there's music for times like that. There's music for someone who's going through depression. There's music for someone who's happy. It may be a gospel song or it may not be a gospel song, but the purpose that song is making someone put a smile on the face. A song is making someone fall in love. A song is making someone think about a friend. Whether or not that song is gospel or not, it really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be a problem, I think. And also, for me, I don't support people that preach bad messages in their music. Like, obviously, let's not talk about violence. Let's not try to hurt people and stuff like that. Let's build love and a community through music, whether it's gospel or it's not gospel. But like I said, it's one message: love.
Yeah, and it's about, is it, because the Bible talks about different, there are different stories in the Bible,
Yeah.
right? And in the Bible also promotes a way of living, right, that God desires us to have. So a song might not necessarily talk about God, but it could be aligned to the Bible in that it's talking about the
Exactly.
principles that the Bible
Exactly.
is talking about. So marriage, love between a man and a woman is something
Exactly.
that
It's
God,
biblical.
yes, it's biblical,
Yeah.
right? In terms of so like just life in general, the
Yeah.
Bible talks about life in general as well and how we should live. And if your song is just taking that
Yeah.
principle and you're singing about that and you're promoting that,
I feel like all those spaces, like
Uh-huh.
I feel like these are different types of callings
Yeah.
from people. Like these are callings that people have got from God. That's how I feel. Like
Okay.
kunima songs, they're not gospel songs, but you can tell, man, the way this song was written. This is a calling. This is not just someone who just decided I'm gonna write. No, there's more to it.
Yeah.
For someone to deliver a certain type of message, gospel or not, it's a calling. That's how I feel. There are writers that are called to write worship songs. There are writers that are called to write praise songs. There are writers that are called to write love songs. There are writers that are called to write inspirational songs, motivational songs.
Yeah.
So those are all gifts from one God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right, cool. So maybe the next question for me is, what areas has God given you victory in your life?
A lot.
Maybe you can just speak one testimony
Yeah.
that you can share.
And I'm grateful because I have many testimonies, and I'm always thanking God every day because every day is a testimony for me. So as you know, like I'm a producer, and kutenga zvinhu music is pricey to build a studio.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna share with you a testimony about how I started my studio and how I started producing. So I met a person online on Facebook. His name is Remember Chaitej. Shout out to Remember Chaitej. He's one of the best live sound engineers that I know. We'd never met. And I just reached out to him on Facebook. I'm like, bro, I'm really inspired by what you do. If you can just give me one or two tips, they'll take me a long way. I just want to know how you do what you do. I like your style. I like the way you work. And he responded, he's like, bro, here's my WhatsApp number. Text me, let's chat. And we started talking until we got to a point where we're like, you know what, I really like what you're doing, man. But I'm not in Zimbabwe to help you in real time. But I can link you up with people that I know in Zimbabwe that are really good and can mentor you. And he linked me to my brother, Brian Mahendere. So Brian Mahendere is my mentor who taught me everything I know in terms of mixing, in terms of all the secrets in audio technology and mixing and mastering and stuff, and even production-wise. And we got to a relationship where he had a studio, I did not. I was just coming from college and nothing.
Yeah.
I could do stuff on my computer, and but I didn't have anywhere to work. I didn't have money to even buy a pair of speakers and stuff. So he called me. He's like, okay, bro, I have a day job and I'm busy. You have a gift, and I want to also help you get better. So come to the studio, use this space. He had everything, stuff that I would just dream of, to use in a studio. And like, this is a studio, use it.
Yeah.
Find artists who want to work with you. If they pay you something, I don't want it.
Wow.
Or your responsibility is just, if I give you an assignment to do, make sure it's done on time and you deliver. And whenever I'm working on something, make sure you're there so that I'll be showing you how I'm doing this, how I'm doing that, how I'm doing that. And that's how I got to start to have a studio space, to start to know how to work with artists, to start to know how to basically have that communication with musicians in the studio
Yeah.
with a space that was not mine.
That was not yours.
And he's asking me to record my own people there and work, and he doesn't want whatever they pay me. That was a huge testimony for me, and he gave me somewhere to start.
Wow.
And he gave me like a stepping stone to become who I am today and to be where I am today. So shout out to you, Brian, big bro. You really helped me out a lot. And our relationship grew really strong to a point where when he moved when he relocated from Zimbabwe, he basically left me his entire studio.
Wow.
Like, bruh, you can keep everything that I had. Not because I didn't have my own stuff then. I now had my own studio. But that demonstration of love was a huge testimony for me. And it really showed me the importance of having relationships, good relationships with people in your workspaces. And you said one, so I guess I'm going to stop there because I have many. I have many testimonies, and I thank God for that. Yeah.
Yeah. We thank God for that. Definitely. That's a powerful testimony. All right. So now we have come to the time in the podcast where we get to switch roles, and the interviewee gets to interview the interviewer.
So my first question.
Yes.
So we did a song. I produced a song for you, Kukunda. When is it coming out? I've been waiting, because artists, they usually when artists release their songs that I produced for them, I usually get tags, like I've been waiting for your tags on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. I haven't gotten any. What's up?
Yes, it's coming out.
When?
The 30th of June, 2025. That is when the song is coming out.
Ah, that's good news.
Yeah, I had to, you were talking about marketing earlier on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was trying to build up the content for that, and also, because obviously just coming from doing the song with Pastor G, it really took a lot out of me.
Yeah.
So I needed to rebuild and just rest first, and then also start working towards it, because a lot goes into releasing a single, particularly for me, because I like to do my pre-release strategy, and then I also want to plan for the post-release strategy. So I needed to be in the right mental space to be able to carry that load. So that's why the delay.
I can't wait. I really can't. I really want people to hear what we did on the song. That song is an amazing song.
It is an amazing song, and thank you so much for agreeing to work with me, because I know it's not easy working with people like me, because I have an idea of what I want.
Fun. I honestly had a lot of fun.
Features by TaffyRue.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed our session. We had a great time, and we really had a beautiful product.
Definitely. Yeah. I can't wait to release it too. So the countdown has begun. And
30 June.
30 June. Yes.
Should I ask another one?
Yes. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm curious. So I'm here in your studio, in your space. Features by TaffyRue. This is your podcast.
Yeah.
So you're doing this. Right? This is one.
Yes.
And you're also an artist. And you also have this talent mentorship program that you do.
Yeah,
this talent show. So you probably have more stuff that you have going on there.
Yes.
But I just want to know, how are you juggling everything,
That's a very common question. Hey,
yeah.
I think I've gotten that question a number of times, asked in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
So I always have to reflect in terms of every time somebody asks me in terms of how. So basically, my relationship with God first and foremost, that's where I get the strength to do what I do.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of work. It definitely is a lot of work. Introducing the podcast is just introduce another workload, but I enjoy it though. I'm so grateful to God that He has given me the opportunity to do this podcast, to Bring It On as well.
Yeah.
Where I get to meet different young people, and we get to just impart what I've learned on them and hopefully inspire them and empower them to then take, the entertainment industry by storm, basically.
Okay.
But having been rooted in the Word of God. And then, being a wife and a mother, honestly, it's just God, because like the work is a lot. But also one thing that I've discovered is that, God allows things to happen in seasons. And he gives us the ability and the wisdom to stop one thing, start another, go back to the other thing. So you'll find that as much as I'm doing the podcast, I've put in place a system where it's not that I do it every single day or every single weekend, but there are times where I'm like, okay, it's time for me to do the podcast. Then I do the podcast. It's time for me to Bring It On. So like now we're going into the Bring It On season. And we are taking, auditions and all of those things. It's time to do that. And then it's now time to be mom. It's now time to be a wife. And I think God is the one who just gives the wisdom to know when to stop one thing and start the other.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
That's great.
I hope that's a good answer. I hope that helps.
I'm learning. Yeah, because taking it, to know to manya at the same time. So it's actually interesting to know, because this is a whole production going on right now.
I can't do it by myself.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I thank God for my husband, because he's the one who does all the production and stuff like that. But also God took us through a period of learning as well. Like for me personally, I didn't know a lot of this camera stuff, but there's a point in time when I did the behind the scenes as well, for different projects that we were working on before I came back into music and stuff like that. So we help each other where he does, let's say, the long form content. I also contribute and do the short form content and all of those things. So it's a tag team, basically.
I like your team.
Yeah.
Like that was gonna be my next comment, that you guys, you're a beautiful team.
Oh, thank you so much.
Like,
yeah,
you're doing this whole podcast thing together. I remember at the studio session that we had, he's there. Yes. Filming the behind the scenes, and
yeah.
So I'm sure at Bring It On as well, you're also on it together. Yes, so yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we should definitely invite you to Bring It On. You can see what we're doing, and you can see, which part you can play. Because I think it's a very powerful platform, and we don't have a lot of people who these young people can look up to and be like, okay, who can I, be like, or maybe look up to, so that I get some guidance, because I think a lot of us, especially in the Christian world, we're just winging it by ourselves in isolation without really seeing good. There are other people who are trying to do the same thing and who have become successful in what they're doing. So it would be interesting to have you come and check out and see what you can add to the team.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah.
I would love to come. Yeah, I'm saying this on camera.
Yes. So that next year, this time of like, you remember what you said.
We have my living. Yeah, but I'll be happy to come through.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you have any other questions for me.
Nah, not today.
Right.
Questions will always be there.
We'll always have. I think one thing, my desire with this podcast is also to have, like, to bring people on even for the second time, third time, and discuss, because I really feel like there's a lot to learn, especially in the music industry, and you've seen a lot, you've learned a lot, and you probably have some advice that you'd want to give my upcoming artists, in terms of even just how to conduct yourself as an artist, being a believer, not necessarily probably doing gospel music by itself, but being a believer in the music industry and what that looks like. So, I think we should have more conversations.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and even just with the music industry, say, how are you surviving from strictly music? I think there are a lot of other musicians who have that question.
there is definitely a lot to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about. So I'll definitely invite you back on again sometime. But we've come to the end of the podcast for today. I don't know if you have maybe a short piece of advice for someone who has decided to tune in on this episode of Features by TaffyRue, a word of encouragement, anything. You could just look into that camera and yeah.
Okay. I'm still learning everything that I do. I'm growing every day and I'm still learning. But one thing that I've seen and learned is in your workspaces, you need to treat people kindly, be generous, be helpful, be useful to the people around you, and, pray, follow God, read your Bible, and get the strength every day from God to do what it is that you want to do. And just be a good person to the people around you. Have good relationships and know how to nurture and grow the relationships around you, because people will surprise you. People don't forget. And people are very grateful if you do good things for them and if you treat people nicely. I think, that's what I would want to say.
Yeah, that's an amazing word there, Wayne.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming to the podcast.
Thank you for inviting me. This was fun.
Yeah, it was definitely fun.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. There you have it. Love, love, love. Be kind to the people around you. Nurture those relationships. You don't know where the road will lead you. That person might surprise you and love you back, right? And who knows? And also pray. Put God first. Look for strength from God to do what you have been called to do. And with that, thank you so much. Until next time, goodbye.